Wait for it to say we're live. Yo, what is going on? Sam Dog the Infamous 253 coming at you guys with a live stream. Finally figured out some stuff. Got a little laptop to finally get back live again, and I'm joined by Dallas Stewart. Want to say what's going on, Dallas? Let them know what's going on, man.
What's going on, YouTube? We are ever so close to the start of training camp.
True, we are. We're really close to training camp, and we're just getting really excited. 10 days to be exact. And now I finally figured out how I can get live again. I'm gonna have to be borrowing this device when me and Dallas are able to go react to Red Zone again. So, what are your thoughts for this upcoming season, Dallas?
Well, I think we have a shot at maybe contending for the division. I think we're real close with the Rams. Maybe 10 or 11 wins. I'm predicting.
I'm still saying one game
Again,
at a time.
you never really know until the season starts, but I think we have a shot at overtaking the Rams this year.
Pending what the Rams did, I'm just waiting for the eye test to know for sure if we can overtake them or for that first matchup, But
which they're going to be they're still going to be tough.
Still, like I said, I won't assume a record or anything because like I mentioned, I'm a one game at a time guy. Obviously, why is that? Adam's on the commenting on the vlog too, saying 10-6 and day one with infamous duo. Yep, that's true, Adam. But right now, we just want to talk some football. I wonder who else is in the stream too. But, got an exciting receiving core to pay attention to coming up this training camp too, with obviously the drafting of DK Metcalf and then obviously Gary Jennings out of West Virginia, and then drafted John Ursua, and then we got some undrafted receivers, including I think Terry Wright and Jazz Ferguson, which they're sounding like some intriguing names. But the eye test obviously is where it's going to come out big time. Dallas?
What?
You still hear me?
Yeah.
All right, man. What's your thoughts though for it?
For the what?
What I was just mentioning with our receiving core.
It'll be interesting to see how the rookies perform and how they do without Doug Baldwin in the receiving core.
Yeah, because Baldwin was forced to retire due to injuries. That's big time.
It'll be interesting to see who takes that place for him.
And then especially the defensive side of the ball too, knowing that we don't have Frank Clark anymore, trading him to Kansas City for a couple of draft picks, drafting LJ Collier, and then signing Ziggy Ansah in the offseason, and then also signing we made some moves with the defense, especially in the draft too, but it's just how well can we keep some of these guys healthy? We gotta keep Ziggy healthy. We just gotta hope that we don't get hit with an injury bug. That's for damn sure too.
Yeah, we gotta stay healthy on defense, and we'll see how the secondary performs this year.
And then one thing I was talking about a while back with someone else too on one of Gangrene David, our We Fly High's live stream. This Philly fan that I got linked with, and I was talking about with Ben Burke-Kirven, the guy we drafted out of the Huskies, about his possibility of maybe being. Because with Bobby Wagner's contract year coming up, with him possibly needing to get paid, the possibility of did we possibly draft a running mate for Bobby Wagner? What do you think?
Maybe we'll see what the linebacking core is like this year. Hopefully they get that extension for Wagner.
And not to mention we drafted two linebackers this year with BBK and Cody Barton from Utah, two Pac-12 linebackers. One of them happened to be the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year in Ben Burke-Kirven. And you watch more Husky games than anyone other than my buddy Adam. But what can you say also about Ben Burke-Kirven for what Seahawks fans can hope to get out of BBK?
He's a ball hawk on defense from what I saw watching the Husky games. He was able to get a lot of interceptions as a linebacker. I think he'll pair up well with Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright.
Yeah. Yeah, and also another thing though too, the Adam A vlogs, you see in my comment, me and him are going to the day one of training camp. So the infamous duo will be paired back up again at training camp for the first day, and then going to one more obviously on August 3rd over at Pop Keeney up in Bothell. Ooh, but man, other than that though, other teams, there could be some surprises from some other teams around the league though too. And plus, we still don't know about how good San Francisco or Arizona are going to be coming up in the division too. Obviously, people saying about San Francisco's front seven as well. So, I mean, we just wait and find out. But I still think that we can still run on them.
Yeah, I would be able to love to sweep those guys and get revenge for that road loss last year.
Hell yeah, big time revenge for that road loss. And I'm gonna if I talk to Metcalf at the first day of training camp, I'm gonna tell him this straight up. I'm gonna try to get in the video. So I'm gonna try to get a video with Metcalf if I could even get him over. That is, I'm gonna tell him when we play San Francisco on that Monday night football game in San Fran and Levi Stadium. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say, oh, hold on a second. What up, Jazzy Jeff, Real Talk? Good to have you on, player. Jazzy Jeff, Real Talk from Atlanta. Also, got my buddy Dallas over here. So, Dallas, say what's up to Jazzy Jeff.
What's up, Jazzy Jeff?
Hey, yep. Yeah, he's a Falcon. He's a diehard Falcons fan from Atlanta. He said, "What up?" He said,
"I think that's going to be a tough one for us."
Yeah, he said, "What up? Week 8, it's on." Yeah, that's going to be a good game, and I wanted to possibly.
I think Atlanta is maybe going to. I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to surprise some people. I think they might be able to who knows, maybe contend for the NFC South.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though. I did have thoughts of possibly wanting to go to Atlanta to go see that Mercedes-Benz Stadium because that stadium looks nice, man. I would have loved to go to a Seahawks road game there, but unfortunately, I got a Halloween weekend that weekend. Might go to a party in Seattle that weekend again.
Yeah, it'll be interesting when we go there.
Yeah. He says, you can beat us on the ground. Our run defense is our weakness. Just wait to see what – my idea for that, though, still is wait for the eye test to see what all we got, though. I mean, pay attention to most of the other teams, though, too. We don't know what we got yet. I mean, especially with what we did with our defense. And, I mean, Atlanta just had bad luck last year with the injury bug on the defensive side of the ball.
I heard they re-signed Grady Jarrett.
Grady Jarrett?
That guy can get after the passer. He did on that Monday night game a couple years ago.
Which one? Against
the
us?
The one that we lost.
Oh, yeah, and we got stripped, and they got a defensive touchdown on us. That was the 2017 year where we missed the playoffs, and then Atlanta beat the Rams in the Coliseum in the wild card.
The Falcons were obviously a big disappointment last year. They regressed, and I'm expecting them to have a bounce back here.
Yeah, and Jazzy Jeff says Grady had 3 sacks in the Super Bowl.
Hey, does he ever talk to David in Atlanta?
I never asked him that yet. Do you talk to David in Atlanta, Jazzy Jeff? You know, Sleeta? He says all the time. But other than that, back to our topic, our receiving core, DK Metcalf, Gary Jennings, and what I was going to say to DK Metcalf was about the Monday night game in San Francisco when we play against the 49ers. I was going to say this to him, if I'm able to get him over at training camp. I'm going to tell him, hey, I know you're going to hopefully have some big years this year, but I'm going to say, but there's one particular game, Monday Night Football at Levi Stadium when we play our rival San Francisco 49ers. I want to see you go out there and not just score, not just 1, not 2. I want to see you try to score 3 touchdowns in that very game, 3 in one game. That would be something to see him do. I want to try to tell him that if I get to meet him at training camp. So go ahead and at me in the comments, reminding me when the day comes, and let me know. Remind me for how I'm going to say this. If I'm able to get Metcalf over by me at training camp to get my first meeting with him. But
they're expecting big things out of him.
We are, and then they're also expecting some big-time things out of Gary Jennings, but they're expecting, LJ Collier, they're trying to hope to get big things out of him. Pete Carroll seems to be very confident in LJ Collier, too.
And there's a lot of interesting position battles to watch.
Yeah. Hey, guys, do I have enough light in my room on my video? Just want to be sure, because I know I got 2 lights on. One of my lights is out, and I got the Super Bowl banner. I mean, still hanging. I know I get better light when I do a straight up normal video on my iPad. So, I mean, this is new. I'm just able to borrow this device to be able to get a live stream out. So now I guess so like I mentioned before with Dallas, the red zone reactions have been saved. So we're gonna get some red zone reactions this year.
That's always fun when we've seen some pretty exciting games or exciting finishes.
But our best reaction from the first year of doing it by far is the Miami Miracle.
Yeah.
That was our best reaction because none of us saw that coming. I mean,
the AFC will be interesting to see if the Patriots can still make it back, or is Kansas City just maybe is Kansas City right there? Can they get back there and maybe finish the deal and get to the Super Bowl this year? Frank Clark is going to be a big time presence for them.
He will be. And now, because remember that game he had last year in London against freaking Derek Carr, and he made life hell for Derek Carr. Now he gets to make life hell for Derek Carr, make Derek's life's car hell twice a year.
Take the place of Justin Houston.
Oh yeah, because Justin Houston's now with the Indianapolis Colts. But
watch out for Indy. I think in the AFC, they're a sleeper team.
Look out!
They came on strong last year.
I'll say look out for Cleveland. I was just talking to
Cleveland actually has expectations for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I was talking to this Giants fan on his live stream earlier. Make sure to check him out. Kid Blue RB27. He's another YouTuber. I actually just finally, for the first time, got connected with him when he had a live call in, and we were talking a little bit about how tough the Browns are going to be this year, even with the addition of Odell Beckham, but with their defense too. And he said he could possibly see them winning the AFC South. I mean, not AFC South. I mean AFC North. So possibilities of that. I'm not even.
Maybe kind of in a rebuild.
Pittsburgh's going to go in a rebuild.
They went through a lot of and you never know with Baltimore.
Yeah, in Baltimore, who knows how Lamar Jackson's going to ever get better at throwing the football.
He was really awful in that wild card game
against the Los Angeles Chargers and got stripped although he almost led a comeback, he got stripped at the end by Uchenna Nwosu. But man, the first 3 weeks of the season for us is going to say everything because for once we start off at home against the Cincinnati Bengals, go on the road to Pittsburgh. Hopefully we get a chance to finally beat Pittsburgh on the road for the first time in a long time. I mean, because I don't think we ever beat Pittsburgh on the road since they were playing in Three Rivers Stadium.
Yeah, and then week 3, we got a tough home game against New Orleans.
And then, of course, the Bengals have a new head coach, too, and Zach Taylor, who used to be the quarterback's coach for the Los Angeles Rams. But, oh, man, I just hope – but that week 3 game is going to definitely say something when we take on the New Orleans Saints.
Because the Saints are
poised for a big –
I think still contenders.
They're probably still contenders, but – They're definitely pissed about getting screwed out of a Super Bowl appearance. That's for damn sure.
They play the Rams in week 2. They've had that game circled.
Oh, big time!
But it's in Los Angeles.
Is that a primetime game?
I think it's still an afternoon game.
Ah, damn!
That should be a primetime game.
But still, I'm not going to count out the Saints at all. Too. I mean, that game we don't know. We don't know how they're going to be. We don't know how we are going to be that, though. But I'm not sleeping on them, though. But when we start making game picks, when we know for sure with our teams, I mean, those game pick videos will be very interesting.
That could be a loss with that explosive. With Kamara and Michael Thomas and Mark Ingram. That's going to be tough.
Mark Ingram's in Baltimore now.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought he was still on the team.
Mark Ingram signed with Baltimore during the free agency.
I don't even know who their running back is.
Alvin Kamara.
Other than Kamara.
Yeah. And then they got some – I mean, obviously they got – who else do they still got? We got to look out for that one guy that they drafted out of UTSA. What was his name again? I think his name was that pass rusher that they drafted in the first round.
Oh, I can't even remember, but they're gonna be tough to beat.
Davenport. It was Marcus Davenport. Yeah, I totally was trying to remember the name. Jazzy Jeff brought up. It was Marcus Davenport. That's who we got to look out for.
We haven't played New Orleans for 3 years.
We haven't played New Orleans since we lost in the Superdome last time in the 2016 season.
Last time we played them at home was 2013.
That was in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl run.
Well, last time we played them in the regular season was a Monday night game.
Yeah. But still, what do you think?
When Jimmy Graham was back on the Saints.
Yeah.
The Saints have not had good luck up here.
They haven't had good luck in Seattle. They haven't even had good luck in Seattle. So the last time I think they've won in Seattle was 2007.
Wow. It's been a while.
It was a Monday night game. I remember because I wanted to be at that game, but I couldn't be there because I had the surgery on my torn ACL. And
you can make an argument that might be our toughest game of the year. And Pittsburgh is another tough place to play, but you finally feel like, oh well, there's no Brown, there's no Bell. It's still gonna be tough to go in there and win.
It's still gonna exactly. I mean, Saints are like we mentioned, Saints are poised for another Super Bowl run though too. But other than that, talk about other teams though. We both know for a fact if there's any action with some other Seahawks, I mean, Rashad Penny's been working out with Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk during the offseason, which both respectively were San Diego State running backs, when they played college ball at San Diego State. I mean, then also, how big of a year do you think Solari can have again with our offensive line? I mean, because he had an effect on the O-line last year in his first season as our – sorry, I burped a little bit. For our O-line man. Solari had an effect, especially with the way Carson was running the ball and the way Penny was running the ball too. Even with Mike Davis, which Mike Davis is now obviously on the Chicago Bears. So what do you think? I mean, and then I know Dwayne Brown was saying that we ran the ball too much. I just hope we can just get it evened out, even though our running game had a lot of success. And Schottenheimer needs to let Wilson control the game with throwing at certain times instead of just always we got to run it all the time. But I think we're still pretty good at this, but we just gotta get it evened out.
Yeah, we gotta be able to run the ball more effectively.
Yeah, that Dallas game.
I think the Upati signing is definitely gonna help.
Hopefully. And then also remember when we lost to Dallas in the playoff games because they outplayed us on both sides of the trenches, and then Shaquille Griffin was supposed to be playing outside when Zeke had that run, And Akeem Kane.
He popped a big one right before half.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the Saints have Latavius Murray as their backup running back now. I totally forgot about that. Jazzy Jeff brought it up in the comments.
Who used to play for the Raiders, right?
The Raiders and the Vikings.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one in week 3.
Hold up.
Definitely a game that's going to tell us a lot about what kind of season it may or may not be. Also, that Cleveland game on the road.
Yeah. Hey, can you guys hear Dallas all right? Just want to be sure they can hear you all right,
That Cleveland game is going to be tough.
That Cleveland game is going to be huge, especially with the tough defense Cleveland has, man,
Because when we played them last time, their quarterback was Johnny Manziel.
And let's not forget who Johnny Manziel beat the week before we kicked the crap out of him.
Was it Tom Brady?
Nope. No, of course not. He couldn't even hold his own jockstrap to Tom Brady. It was the 49ers. He beat the 49ers.
Oh, yeah.
Manziel beat the 49ers in Cleveland. And speaking of which, man, here's another thing, man, about this. I mean, obviously, the Cleveland Browns are playing. I mean, the AFC North is playing the AFC West this year, and the Cleveland Browns are going to have to play Frisco again, this time in Frisco. Do you think Baker Mayfield will make that history repeat itself, except this time the 49ers will lose to Baker Mayfield, and Mayfield will just carve them up with OBJ and Jarvis Landry and Nick Chubb? And I don't know when they played the Browns, though, but Kareem Hunt in the first 8 obviously is suspended the first 8 games.
Yeah, and Cleveland was, for a long time, they were in the wild card hunt mainly all year.
They were.
They never really get eliminated from contention, I think, until like week 15.
Yeah. Ooh.
They went from like 1 win to 7. They might be closer to 9 or 10, I think, this year.
And we're talking
their
Cleveland.
defensive line with Jabril Peppers and
Jabril Peppers is on the Giants now. He was part of the. Jabril Peppers was part of the Odell Beckham Jr. trade.
And then who do they have on their defensive line?
Well, remember they. I don't really know much about. I mean, I know Cleveland just got Sheldon Richardson. That's one of the. I haven't really paid much attention to Cleveland other than they got.
That's a pretty big sign.
I know they got Miles. Obviously, it's Myles Garrett and Sheldon Richardson so far.
That's who it is. Myles Garrett. That's who they drafted a few years ago. But Sheldon Richardson was doing good last year for the Vikings.
He was.
I really wish the Seahawks had been able to keep him.
Yeah, Sheldon Richardson's big game for the Seahawks was that 16-10 win at Los Angeles in 2017.
I think the Jets made a mistake trading him.
Trading him to us, even though they got a second-round pick in Jermaine Kearse.
Who's now at Detroit. He's reunited with
Darrell Bevell.
Somebody took a flyer on Darrell Bevell. Who would have thought about that?
I wonder how crappy the Lions are going to be with Bevell. No offense, Lions fans.
I wonder if he'll call the same god-awful plays when he was here.
I bet you he will. I bet you he will. Ooh,
I bet they finished close to last in the NFC North.
Well,
they're probably the worst. That and maybe the Packers are taking a step back.
I still don't sleep on Aaron Rodgers.
Lost Randall Cobb.
I still don't sleep on Aaron Rodgers. They'll probably find a way to make somebody good. And don't forget, Green Bay, this is their first year without Mike McCarthy as their head coach because now they got Matt LaFleur as their new head coach.
Everything went south for them last. They really just they were a mess last year.
Packers imploded. There was just a lot of.
Maybe they have a bounce back year.
Yeah. Ooh, well, there's a lot more we can talk about though too, with a bunch of other crazy things with this league. But Seahawks wise, I mean, they'll be interested to see like the receivers, the defense, and but mainly I want to see this new look offense. I want to see if it has the potential to maybe be a freaking top-notch powerhouse offense this year, especially with all we've done with it. I mean, obviously losing Baldwin, but still having Tyler Lockett for our receiving core, but pairing it with DK Metcalf and Gary Jennings and a John Ursua and whoever shines undrafted, and then defense will be interesting. I'm just anxious to see what all we got for undraftees on the defense, see if anybody can shine up there too. And then obviously there's a way more too. Hey, what's up? We fly high. But yeah, what do you think though?
It'll be interesting to see the receiver battle and if the offensive line is improved. Also the backup quarterback battle.
Geno Smith.
It'll probably be Geno Smith.
It has to be Geno. I did a video with Anish about that earlier, talking about why Geno Smith will be our backup quarterback instead of crap-ass Paxton Lynch.
Yeah, Paxton Lynch. I mean, he didn't look very good for Denver.
And then obviously, I mean, personally for me, I want a guy who's beaten Tom Brady at least once in his career to be our backup, Remember, Geno Smith beat both Tom Brady and Drew Brees in his rookie year in 2013, which just so happened to be the year that got this. I'm just talking about, I just touched my Super Bowl banner back there in Dallas, because that was the year we won the Super Bowl. Ooh, but but other than that, we're excited. The fact that we finally have something now to try to get back to live streaming Red Zone when we get the chance to, whenever the Seahawks don't have a home game or an away game, maybe possibly.
The expectations are, I think the people are a little bit more optimistic this year as opposed to last year. People really think, they're better than last year. It's gonna be an interesting season.
I mean, we won't know for sure until
that eye test. We feel like they have more expectations this year as opposed to last year. Because
we added some more to our offense with the receiving core.
We did it last year heading into the season with the moves they made. They exceeded my expectations last year.
We thought we were going to be terrible, and then we ended up beating Patrick Mahomes on Sunday Night Football before Christmas.
The year didn't start off well, and you're going, okay, maybe Sports Illustrated is right,
and then we shock everyone and make the playoffs with a 10-6 record. We go 10-6, make the playoffs. Obviously, get eliminated in the wild card by a tough Dallas team. And speaking of Dallas, Zeke Elliott holding out, man. Zeke Elliott's holding out. How much do you think Jerry Jones will fork up to try to keep Zeke happy?
Probably a lot. I mean, they need him in that offense.
Big time. And then Dak Prescott. I mean, what are you gonna do with Dak? I mean, do you think he's worth to keep for Dallas? Or I don't know. What do you think will happen with Prescott?
I don't really think they have an answer at the quarterback position. I really don't know who else they're gonna put in there.
But there's no way they would ever think about making a possible gutsy trade to trade.
And they still have a very winnable division, in my opinion, this coming year.
Yeah, I mean, if they were to trade Dak, I mean, what do you think they would try to get for Dak Prescott if they were to trade Dak Prescott before he becomes too expensive or whatnot?
I really don't know.
I mean, still, there's no way in heck.
I think they're invested in Dak. I mean, he was the guy that took over for Romo and led him to the playoffs.
Well, I mean, his first year, and then obviously they let the defense choke, and let Aaron Rodgers drive him in the field goal range for Mason Crosby to hit that game winner.
Yep, and I think they're just invested in Prescott at this point.
There's no way they could pull a possible gutsy trade to try to make a big ass trade. I mean, not saying that it could happen. I mean, especially after he just lost that Super Bowl. I mean, what if there was a possibility they could make a trade for Jared Goff? Imagine if Jared Goff was to be in Dallas. I mean, and then trade. I mean, there's no way that kind of trade could ever happen, because it would have to be a big fork up to try to get Jared Goff away from Los Angeles to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you think about that?
I don't think they would ever make that trade.
Never?
I think the Rams are set on Jared Goff.
Yeah, but remember, they paid all that money to Todd Gurley. Now Gurley has arthritis in his leg too. And then they paid all that money to freaking Aaron Donald, and then paid a lot of guys too. I mean, and then the Rams got Clay Matthews and freaking Eric Weddle for their defensive offseason additions. And then, I mean, so there could be a lot that could happen. But Clay Matthews, I don't think Clay Matthews is what he used to be.
No.
I mean, it showed last season too.
And they lost Sue.
They lost Ndamukong Suh. Sue's now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bruce Arians brought Todd Bowles back to be his defensive coordinator in Tampa Bay, and then also Dayon Buchanan went to Tampa in the free agency as well.
Could Tampa maybe a surprise team in the NFC?
Remember how they were surprising with Fitzpatrick as their quarterback, the way they beat the Saints in Week 1, and then the way they beat Philadelphia?
That might have been one of the surprise upsets to start the year last year.
Yeah, and then obviously Fitzpatrick freaking choked, and then Tampa just went way downhill after that.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that they were able to beat the Saints.
Yeah, that was crazy, man, to even think that could even happen.
You never know week by week in the NFL. Anybody is capable of rising up and pulling off an upset.
Any given Sunday, every freaking time, man.
You can't sleep on any team, no matter what the record is.
And that's why I wasn't sleeping on Frisco, even when we lost to them, you know?
No, I mean, we knew the winning streak wasn't going to last forever, but we didn't know it was going to end to Nick Mullins.
Yeah.
We didn't know that's how it was going to end.
Well, we just stooped down to the level, and then remember the week after that, we beat Kansas City. We just stooped down to the level.
What a difference a week makes. We rose up, and that was a huge win when we beat Kansas City because it clinched a playoff spot for us.
That game last year, that was my win of the year.
Down to the final week.
That win last year against Kansas City was my win of the year. What's my high? That was
it had to be.
The win of the year. Obviously my top 3 wins of the year were
considering, we weren't thinking we were going to win that game at the beginning of the year.
No, we weren't. I mean, and then Kareem Hunt gets suspended, and then they have to turn to some other running backs too. And But my top 3 wins of last season obviously was the win against Kansas City, the win against Carolina, the win at Carolina, and then the freaking win against the Packers.
The Packers game turned the season around.
Yeah, and then to win that big time game and that tough game in Carolina the week after that helped it too. Especially when David Moore made the big catch on 4th and 3. I just hope David Moore can do a little better next year. He kind of disappeared. Had some bad drops during the season, but hopefully he can get that turned around in the next season and improve.
Yeah. If we lose that Packer game, I don't think we would have made it. We would have been 4-6 because we had lost to the Chargers and Rams back to back. We had a brutal November last year, schedule wise.
Yeah, but still, I'll be on that game in Los Angeles, and there could maybe just be that possibility. I could be in LA in December for the Sunday night game against the Rams with my dad.
I think if we have the only game I think we have a chance. The only way I think we beat the Rams is if when we play it on home. I think that's our only chance. We got to get them at home.
Big time.
On a short week.
That's a Thursday night. Both our games against the Rams are on prime time.
We gotta come out firing in that game. That's a game that's gotta be a statement game for us. We gotta play our best to beat them.
Oh yeah, big time, man, for real.
Because we were so close. A couple plays here and there in both those games last year from sweeping them.
Yeah.
We know we can. We know we're right there with the Rams.
We are definitely
right
up there. We're right there with them. We hung with them the last 2 times, and if not for not calling that timeout when they had their freaking punt team out, we could have possibly had a chance to go down to the field goal range.
We beat them in the Coliseum 2 years ago. We had several people injured on defense.
I know. I was at the game in LA. I was literally in the Coliseum in the opposite corner of Earl Thomas's punch out.
We know we can beat them.
Yeah.
But they're definitely still right there in the NFC to be contenders, and a lot of people probably have them going back to the Super Bowl. And it's hard to go against. It's hard to go against them.
It is hard to go against them.
You look at their 53-man roster, and it's probably one of the better rosters in the league.
I think the one thing we're going to start looking at now is that film of Super Bowl 53, because the way, and plus also the film of how the Bears beat the Rams last year, but what the Patriots did to the Rams in the Super Bowl was what the Bears did, but on steroids.
Yeah, the Patriots just exposed their offense. They just gave Bill Belichick 2 weeks to prepare for them, and their inexperience came back, and it cost them.
Hold on a second.
As you mentioned, you said it was their inexperience. They didn't look ready.
And I even said Goff was never ready for the ball. Goff was not ready for the ball, and he missed on big plays. If he would have thrown the ball some odd seconds earlier when he was going for Brandon Cooks in the end zone, if he would have thrown that way, not the Gilmore interception. We'll talk about one of the earlier plays when the Rams could have had a touchdown.
Oh yeah,
Cooks threw it just a few seconds too late.
Yeah, the Rams, they had their chances in that game.
They did, but they just couldn't capitalize, and then Tom Brady capitalized big time. But the way the defense was playing against them, they took out Todd Gurley. They shut down C.J. Anderson, who they had at the time, which now C.J. Anderson's on the Detroit Lions. But I think the Seahawks, they play the Rams. When they play the Rams, I say re-look back at that Super Bowl 53 film to see how to shut down a McVay offense the way that the Patriots did, because
the Rams were rolling at the beginning.
And the Patriots,
the middle part of the year, last year, putting up a bunch of racking up the points.
Would you say the Patriots freaking exposed the Rams in the Super Bowl?
I would say so.
Yeah, because now every team's going to be looking at that film every time they play the Rams.
Their offense in Super Bowl 36.
Exactly. When they had Marshall Faulk and the greatest show on turf back when they were the St. Louis Rams.
That's still got to be tough for them.
That's got to be way tough for St. Louis. But to be honest with you, St. Louis should have every right to that trophy that the greatest show on turf did win, though.
They should stay in the trophy case there.
In St. Louis in some museum, just like our 79 NBA Finals trophy with the Sonics is still here.
They have a Stanley Cup
They have a Stanley Cup, obviously a bunch of World Series, and what else? And still that one Lombardi trophy.
I know Stan Kroenke is still despised in St. Louis.
He is. He is in St. Louis, but he's awfully loved in LA.
They believe if he could have kept him in St. Louis. There's a lot of factors on why they left St. Louis.
Yeah, but yeah, hold on a second. Taga Kale Tiwi Albe, I agree with the freaking old person face saying that is kind of creepy, but then again, it's funny. I saw a picture with my buddy Shane and his wife, and it looked pretty hilarious with my friend. Yeah, there's something on some app that they're doing on Instagram that makes people look older, and it's kind of funny. But still, I just remember still the last time we swept the Rams, though, was the year we won the Super Bowl, which was 2013. That was the last ever time we ever swept the Rams.
Yeah, we won a Monday night at the Dome.
And then Malcolm Smith had a pick six against them at home.
Yep, when we wrapped up the number 1 seed.
Yep.
They were a different team back then, though. Their cure was firing Jeff Fisher. That's what cured them.
Oh yeah.
That was the smartest thing they ever did.
Firing Jeff Fisher.
Because now Sean McVay actually made Jared Goff look like a competent quarterback.
Yeah. Taga Kale Tiwi Albe says if we don't lose to these Niners and beat the Eagles in Philly, I'm good. I'll tell you what, though, I think we could still go in. EDP made a freaking video saying something about freaking having a key ingredient to trying to beat us. You know, it's like, what ingredient, you know? I mean, it's just you got to stop our offense and Russell Wilson.
In Philadelphia, but
and that's a Sunday night game coming off our bye week, too. That
was one of the wins of 2017, beating them at home on Sunday night.
Yeah, and then EDP was furious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to see it. I would love to see us go into Philly.
When the last time we lost to Philadelphia was?
Probably not since during the 2000s, before the 2010s started. Back when we were rebuilding, when they had Donovan McNabb. Yeah, and then I still remember, because if you remember during Troupon's bowling event, I was talking to Lofa Tutupu about the game where he had 3 interceptions against Philly, remember?
Oh, the Monday night game in 05?
Yeah, no, not the Monday night game in 05. I'm talking about the game in 07 in regular season.
Was it at the Link?
It was at Philadelphia, and Lofa picked off Donovan McNabb 3 times, including the game-winning interception.
Yeah, that was. I also remember the Monday night game in 05 when it snowed.
42-0, the year we went to Super Bowl 40.
We blanked them.
We blanked them 42-0 when they were the defending NFC champs, and then we got screwed in the worst Super Bowl ever, Super Bowl 40. Worst officiated game in the history of the NFL. But still, for this other season, I mean, there's got to be a couple other teams to try and eye, though, too. I mean, what's going to be crazy about possibly with the New York Giants? I mean, you think this could be possibly a year where Daniel Jones could possibly come in and take the starting job from Eli Manning?
Maybe.
Because he looks like he's been.
Doesn't look like himself.
And they're saying Daniel Jones has been impressing in the camps and whatnot with the freaking New York Giants. I mean, eye test will determine it all. Again, like I always say, but I'm anxious to kind of see New York.
They might be in the running this year for the top pick.
You think so? I mean, they already have Saquon Barkley.
I think they're going to be right there. They might be one of the worst teams in the league.
I mean, you saw all the reactions that the fans had to drafting Daniel Jones, right?
Yeah.
And then we actually gave them the 30th pick because we traded down with them at the end of the draft night. We traded down with the Giants so they could. I forgot who they used with that pick that we traded down with them.
I know they probably hated the Odell Beckham trade.
Yeah, I still remember watching all those videos too. Those were kind of hilarious too. And then some of the reactions, obviously, Cleveland fan reactions are pretty funny too.
I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they would trade Odell.
Still trying to figure that out too. But the only receivers they got is obviously Sterling Shepard and Golden Tate. And who else? We'll get some looks at some other big names during the preseason too, whenever that time comes up next month. But and then of course
I think they're going to be really bad.
Watching training camp live is going to be interesting too. I hope they get a bunch of good looks at training camp live to see what all they talk about, and then obviously.
I'd almost wager money on them probably getting the number. I don't know who's going to be worse for the Giants.
Who knows? How do you think the Jets will do having Le'Veon Bell and with Sam Darnold? And then, of course, they got C.J. Mosley for their defense.
Oh.
James Glenn says that he thinks John Ursua is on the practice squad this year. Well, we'll have to wait and see, James. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, Pete and John make the decisions, but it's a possibility. Maybe. I want to see if he proves himself, though, especially with some of the undrafted guys. I want to see what that Jazz Ferguson guy can bring and that Terry Wright from Purdue can bring to the table. 2 undrafted receivers the Seahawks have.
Yeah, we'll see how much better San Francisco is.
Yeah, eye test will determine that. But still, can't sleep on them, too. You can't sleep on any rival or anybody in this league. But we've been going for 41 minutes now. So I think I'll get ready to shut her down, man. Getting a little tired. Want to just relax, check some sports. I want to thank you guys all. Oh, yeah, Taga Kale, DK for sure is definitely in, man. And David Hedershire, thank you for tuning in again. And I don't know when Norb's going to do a live call-in again. It's been a little while since Norb's done that, but I've called in some other people, and it's been pretty cool, man. And by the way, we're only 6 subscribers away from 500, so go Hawks. And, I mean, Dallas, I want to thank you for coming in once again, man. Thank you for coming in once again. Glad we can go live again now with a different device. It'll be fun to get those red zone reactions again, which I highly encourage guys to check out when the time comes when the Seahawks don't have a home game on a Sunday or a road game on a Sunday too, and I can get my boy Dallas over here so we can react to red zone, even though we can't show the TV screen because of copyright rules. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, red zone is it's always fun. That's probably the funnest part of the season when the Seahawks aren't playing on a Sunday and it's 6 hours of non-stop football.
No commercials too, except for kind of breaks with the red zone guy talking.
Yeah, it's action-packed for sure.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and shut down the stream. Make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell when you're new. If you're new to the channel, bang the thumbs up. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, and I can't wait to get back to more. And also keep on supporting NorbCam too, who inspired me to come on and start doing this game. And once again, thank y'all for tuning in. And if you ain't with it, you ain't infamous. As always, go Hawks.